welcome to our channel. In the previous session we have discussed what is an operating system, how we can view an operating system, that is user point of view and system point of view, and what are the goals or objectives of an operating system. Now we will move to different types of operating systems. Okay, we have different types, that is a batch operating system, time sharing, multi-programming, distributed, network, and real-time systems. We will discuss each and every type of operating system. What is the first one? The first one is batch operating system. So batch operating system. In this batch operating system, the users do not interact with the computer. Directly. So remember this one. In batch operating systems, the users do not interact with the computers directly. Then how to perform a task? So the user has prepared his job by using some offline devices. Remember, batch operating systems, users do not interact with the computer directly. So if they do not interact with the computer directly, then how they perform their task? So they prepare his jobs by using some offline devices. Like example is punch cards. That is, the users has prepared their programs in punch cards. And these punch cards are submitted to the computer operator. Simple example. Suppose whenever you are going to an office, for example, for a bank transaction. So you have to withdraw some amount or you have to deposit some amount. You fill a form. You are filling an application form, that is withdrawal form. That withdrawal form is given to the computer operator. But not you are directly going to the computer and perform withdrawal operation, or directly going to the computer perform deposit operation. The operation is performed by the particular bank employee. So that is the batch operating system. That is, our task is written in a punch card and submitted to the computer operator, and the computer operator perform the task. How? So to increase the speed of processing. How batch system work means, the jobs with similar needs are batched together. You got it? Batched together. The jobs with similar need are batched together and execute batch by batch. For example, 20 customers enter into a bank. Suppose some 10 customers required for withdrawal, some 10 customers required for deposit. All their requirements are collected by the computer operator. Suppose the first to perform 10 deposit operations at a time, and then perform 10 withdrawal operations at a time. That is, the jobs with similar needs are batched together and executed. Okay, these are the batch operating systems. What are the advantages and disadvantages? By seeing this, advantage is speed. Processing speed is increased. That is, they executed together. Automatically speed of the processing, is increases. Next, ideal time is simply waiting time. Ideal time is reduces. That is, at a time we are executing batch by batch, the ideal times are very easy. And one more point is, so repeatedly perform a task. The work is repeated multiple number of times. Same work is repeated multiple number of times. Even though these are the advantages, here we have mainly disadvantages. In batch operating system. What are the disadvantages? One simple disadvantage is if all the jobs together, all similar jobs together executed. Suppose if any error in one job, the remaining jobs has to wait. The remaining jobs has to wait. That is, debug is difficult. Debugging is difficult. That is, error identification is difficult. Why? Because the system, that is the batch, is not executed. What is the problem? So we have to check each and every job. That is, debug is difficult, and at the same time, if one job fails, all other jobs has to wait. If one job fails, all other jobs has to wait and fail. And computer operator has to know each and every job. That is, computer operator has the knowledge of how to find the similar jobs. These are the different disadvantages of batch operating system. Okay, next we will move to another one. That is, a simple diagram is, suppose job 1, job 2, job 3, all these are given to the operating system. So different jobs, all those are given to operating system. Operating system divides in terms of batches. Batch 1, batch 2. That is, operating system is the computer operator, simply collects all the jobs and grouped into batches, and the batches are given to CPU. This is a simple diagram of batch operating system. Okay. Next we will move to multiprogramming. Multiprogramming, the name itself specifies multiple number of programs. That is how the operating system works. So multiple number of programs are loaded. For example, we have 3 programs, P1, P2, P3. Assume 3 programs are loaded into the memory. Only one CPU. First, the CPU is allocated to process P1. That is, the CPU is allocated to one process. If that process requires any IO operation during execution, if a process requires any IO operation, then this process move to some IO operation, and we are allocating the CPU to another process. That means multiple programs. That means CPU is not idle. We have 2 operations. One is CPU operations, second one is IO operations. Suppose the keyboard, mouse, printer, etc. all are IO operations. We are allocating CPU to the process one process. We are allocating the processor CPU to one process. Suppose during execution, if a process need an IO operation, then we are allocating the CPU to another process. That is, multiple number of programs are executed by a single CPU. This is multiprogramming operating system. What is the advantages? Advantage is multiple number of programs are executed, but the disadvantage is, suppose if a high priority process comes, the low priority process has to wait. For a long time. That is, and if a process does not need any IO operation, all remaining process has to wait for the CPU. That is the problem. Okay. So a somewhat variation of multiprogramming operating system is time sharing system. Time sharing operating system. Here how it works. Suppose consider a single system. A single system is a single CPU. Here the CPU is shared among multiple number of processes. The CPU is shared among multiple number of processes. CPU is shared among multiple number of processes. That is, what is meaning of this one? The time of the CPU is shared. That is, different processes at different terminals can work simultaneously. We have different users at different terminals can use the CPU at a time, can use the CPU simultaneously. That is, execution of all the processes are done smoothly. In simple terms, the time of the CPU is shared among different processes. For example, see this one, process P1, P2, P3, P4. We have 4 processes. How time sharing is applied? For example, I am fixed a time 2 milliseconds. Assume 2 milliseconds. First process P1, I am allocating 2 milliseconds. After completion of 2 milliseconds, now I am allocating CPU to process P2. After 2, allocating process P3 and P4. Again back. Again P1, P2, P3, P4. That means the entire time of the CPU is shared among all the processes equally. That is the important point. In multi-programming system, there is no equal concept. That is, if a high priority process comes, low priority process has to wait. Or if high priority process if a process does not require any IO operation, the process has to wait. Another process has to wait. But in time sharing system, all the processes are considered as equally, and the total time of the CPU is shared among all the processes equally. This is called time sharing system. This is called time sharing operating system. Okay. See the diagram. Suppose a simple diagram. Job 1, job 2, job 3. Simply OS allocates to CPU. This is one job, another job, job 3. All the jobs are entered into OS. The OS allocates the CPU. Here, how the CPU executes? Simply switches among the jobs. That is, one job is moved to another. That is, after completion of one job, it moves to another job. After completion of that one, move to another job. In this fraction, what is the advantage? The main advantage is response time. Response time is the main advantage. What do you mean by response time? Whenever we are entered into the system, a process is executed one time. Suppose you went to a hotel. Suppose if the waiter comes, that is the response. Even though the food is not delivered, the waiter comes and asks for food. So the response time means same that one. That is, even though the total process is not completed, but the CPU is allocated at least one time. That is the response time. Okay, no problem. We will discuss all these times: response time, turnaround time, completion time, waiting times in the process concepts. So after completion of this one, we have a process concepts. We will discuss all those topics in detail. Okay, the main advantage is response time and multiple number of jobs. Executed simultaneously. And each job gets an equal opportunity. And coming to these are the advantages. The main disadvantage is protection, reliability, data sharing. All these are the main disadvantages. What are those? Suppose the CPU switches among multiple jobs. So the protection, maybe loss of the protection, loss of some data, loss of some reliability. That is, there is a chance of errors by CPU switching from one job to another job. These are the time sharing operating systems. Okay, simply the time is shared among multiple jobs. Next one is distributed operating system. What do you mean by these distributed systems? Distributed system maintain multiple servers. Distributed system maintains multiple servers or multiple processors. Simple term. Processor means, remember, processor means CPU. Process means a program Observe the difference. Process means a program in execution is called a process. CPU is called processor. So in distributed system, multiple processors serves multiple users. Multiple processor serves multiple users. That is, in time sharing system, we have a single CPU that is shared among all the jobs. But here distributed system is we have multiple processors that are shared among multiple users. That means we have, for example, 5 CPUs and 5 number of users. 5 CPUs and 5 number of users. User 1 entered into the first CPU. User 2 uses second CPU. For example, railway ticket counter. We have 10 counters. That is, all 10 counters are work together. Based on the queue line, you will go to any of your required line. Suppose the first queue line contains 100 members. Simply you move to second line or move to third line. Simply that is one. We have multiple processors serve multiple users. What is the main advantage of this one? The main advantage of this one is sharing. That means, suppose if one system, before going to this one, I will explain one more point. All these multiple processors are connected. Remember, all these multiple processors are connected through some bus or some telephone lines, etc. Through some communication. All the processors are connected through some communication. Okay. So if they are connected through some communication, if one process does not have a resource, if one process does not have a sufficient resource, then what the processor do? Simply that process request the resource from another CPU. Observe, suppose we have CPU 1, CPU 2. If CPU 1 does not have a particular software, the software is available in C2, then what happens? Simply we are accessing the resource from C2 into C1. That means simply sharing of the resources. No need to install the particular software in C1. Simply we have to use this software C2. This is the main advantage of distributed operating system. The main advantage of distributed as operating system. That is, in simple terms, remote access is allowed. Distributed system, remote access is allowed. That is, one system can access the information from any another system. Okay. Then what is the disadvantage? What are the disadvantages and advantages? First we will move to advantages. Advantages means we have multiple number of CPUs. A failure of one CPU will not affect another. We have multiple number of CPUs. A failure of one processor does not affect the other processors. Why? Because all are independent. Suppose you are in a ticket counter. For example, you have total 10 counters. If counter 1, the particular system fail, then no problem. The tickets are issued by from counter 2 to counter 10. The concept is not completed. That is, the ticket issuing not completed. The failure is only in system 1. That is advantage. If one CPU fails, no problem. Remaining CPUs may work. That is, all are independent, and we already discussed sharing. So sharing of the resources, the main advantage is, one word is sharing of the resources. Okay, and after sharing of the resources, load on the, that is, we can maintain any number of tasks at a time. That means load on the host computer. Reduces. Why? The task of the host means main server. The task of the host means is distributed to all the remaining CPUs. But coming to disadvantages, the one of the main disadvantages, if there is a failure in the main network, in this case, if the failure in a single CPU, no problem. if there is a failure in the main network, the entire process has closed. The entire process has closed. And one of the another problem is the distributed systems are not readily available. The distributed systems are not readily available. They are highly costly, high costly, and the even up to now, no language is fixed. No language is yet to be fixed for implementing distributed operating systems. These are the main disadvantages of distributed operating systems. Okay. Next one, network operating system. Network operating system. How network operating system works? Different number of servers, that is different number of CPUs are connected to a server. Simply, network operating system maintains a server. Network operating system maintains a server, and the server has the capability to handle all the jobs. Server has the capability to handle all the jobs, that is all the users data, security, applications, all networking functions are maintained by this server, This is the network operating system, and all the systems are connected through in a network. In network operating systems, all the systems are connected by using a network. For example, by using a LAN. So what is the advantage? If the systems are connected by using, suppose LAN, if the systems are connected by using a LAN, they can easily share the resources. Suppose one printer is connected to server. All the systems connected on the LAN can access the printer or can access some IO devices. Everything, that is, all the systems that are connected on a particular network can share easily. But what is the main disadvantage? This is the advantage. The main disadvantage is if there is a failure on the server, so the entire system crashes, and maintenance of the server is costly. That is the disadvantage. But advantage is, sharing is a one advantage, and we can easily integrate the software into the server. If we integrate software into the server, then all the systems can access that software. And finally, real-time operating system. So these real-time operating systems are used in a situation where time constraints are very strict. When time constraints are strict, we are using real-time operating system. Time constraint means the timing constraint, the execution time. That means simply real-time operating systems are used whenever response time is very less. In those cases, we are using real-time operating systems. What do you mean by this response time? That is, we react to the input. Whenever we are giving an input, we react to the input. That reaction time is very less. Simply missiles, robots, some air traffic controllers, all those are real-time systems. In these real-time systems, we have two types: hard real-time system, soft real-time system. Hard real-time system means these time constraints are very strict. That means even smallest possible delay is not allowed. For example, when you met with an accident, so parachute has to be opened or airbags to be opened. So in those cases, the delay is not accepted. Suppose whenever an accident, suppose after 1 second or after 2 minutes, if a parachute opens or airbag opens, there is no use of this one. So simply very strict means even smallest possible delay is not allowed. And soft real-time system means, so even though it is strict, remember, but less strict. For example, multimedia, virtual reality, all those cases. So no problem. These are the different types of operating systems. Okay, what are those? Batch operating system, multi-programming, time sharing, distributed, network, and real-time operating systems. In the next session, we will discuss the functions of an operating system. Thank you.